All right, it is 12 o'clock and I'm going to get started right on the dot. As far as I know, a lot of people have been watching these later in the day. So I want to, hi, Chuck. It'll be good, I promise. I'm getting better at these. Goal is to not use which I already did once. But all right, so we today are going to discuss something that I think is super important in all aspects of our lives, and it applies to nutrition as well. We are going to discuss how to know when to push and when to take it easy. I started okay, eat your lunch and watch with me. I started thinking about this last night. So I imagine I'm just like everybody else in this, that we're still struggling with trying to find systems for our new normal. And we have highs and lows. I have had some great moments in the past 3 days where I felt amazing. And then I've had some moments where I've felt like crap. And yesterday was one of those days where my schedule just kind of got away from me. And the next thing I knew, it was the afternoon and I hadn't done any of the fitness that I was prescribed. I have a remote coach, and well, he's sort of remote. He's also my best friend, but he had given me stuff that I was supposed to do, and it got to the end of the day and I hadn't done it. And I was feeling just really kind of out of sorts. I didn't feel good yesterday, and not physically. I just didn't feel good emotionally. And it started making me think about, when am I supposed to be pushing myself and using my discipline? And when am I supposed to give myself a break and some room to exist and be? And yesterday I was discussing how I read this awesome article, which I have linked in the description on this chat, about how we are all grieving right now. And I really appreciated that perspective. I have experienced some pretty intense grief in my life. I lost my brother when I was 27. And when I read this article, it really connected me back to the grief process that I went through with him, and how I appreciate that it is very much what I'm feeling like now. Now, granted, it's not as extreme, but I am definitely, I've had those same highs and lows, that wishing that life were back the way it used to be, that uncertainty about how my future is going to be, worrying about how other people are being impacted. And you kind of get stuck in these cycles of feeling this way. And then, unfortunately, prior to all this, we'd had all these great systems in place potentially to help us get out of those cycles. You had a friend that you would meet for coffee, or you'd go to the gym and you would talk to a friend at the gym, or, you had all these opportunities. If you had a good social network, you had all these opportunities to connect with people. And now all of a sudden, we don't, right? And even though, like, I am fortunate, I have 3 roommates, and so I get to see people, but I might not connect with them the same way I would connect with a best friend over a glass of wine. So, and I've appreciated that I've chosen to be a leader, someone who wants to set an example for other people. And part of that responsibility is leading from the front. And it's also acknowledging that if I'm struggling with these things, that there probably are a lot of other people that are struggling with this as well. And while it's not completely directly focused on nutrition, our eating ends up becoming a a consequence of how we're feeling a lot, right? So we use our food to make us feel better. So if I address your emotions right now, if I address how you are feeling, and if I help you learn to understand when it's okay to give yourself some space and some breathing room to exist and feel what you're feeling, and then when do you need to come out of that and move forward, if I help you with that, then we can create these awesome systems to navigate these uncertain times. So how do you find the balance between giving yourself a break and forcing yourself to do things? And when I say forcing yourself to do things, I don't mean using willpower or motivation. Every single one of us has tried something once in our lives where we initially were very motivated to do it, be it in the health and nutrition world where we wanted to start a new diet or a new exercise plan or get up at 5 a.m. or any of these things, right? And that first week, we're super motivated and we're excited. And then the second week, it's like, oh crap, this is my life now and I'm tired and I've had to sacrifice things and give things up because, I can't go out with my friends on a Wednesday night so I can get up at 5 a.m. or whatever it is. And that motivation wanes. And then we're left with having willpower because we don't have the habits and disciplines set in place to truly implement the thing that we wanted to do. So forcing yourself to do things requires habits and discipline. And I'm going to address that more in just a minute. But when I use that term, I'm not saying that you have to haul yourself into your home gym to make yourself go exercise. I'm saying that you need to have a conversation with yourself about how you're feeling and recognize that, if you've gotten in a habit of not exercising, then you need to have the conversation. Okay, it's time to go exercise whether you want to or not, because you feel better when you do. So I digress a little bit, I'm sorry, but we'll get back to that in just a second. So the question is, how do you find the balance between giving yourself a break and forcing yourself to do things? I will use myself as an example, and I will use yesterday as an example. I let myself not exercise yesterday. And I did that because I acknowledged that I was just feeling kind of down in the dumps. And I had gotten overwhelmed with my new schedule. And I didn't make myself go outside to our little gym area because I said, you're feeling like crap. You can exercise tomorrow. I'm not going to get off my schedule completely. I am going to get back on my schedule tomorrow. And I tried to be gentle with myself. I tried to be kind to myself and let myself have the space to just exist and acknowledge the fact that, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. Like this is a brand new thing for me. This being in my apartment or my house all day, every day. And it's okay that I'm feeling like this. I don't have to be this super motivated, rigid, disciplined individual right now. I can just exist because I'm not perfect. Now, so that's the balance, is giving yourself an hour or 2 hours or even a day of letting yourself not be perfect, letting yourself be human. And then, like I said, I let myself do that because I knew today that I was going to have to use my discipline to make myself get outside and do my fitness. And I found that balance. And that's what I want you guys to do. For every expectation you have at the moment for, eating clean or sticking to your exercise regimen or, getting up early, that can feel hard right now because you're kind of like, what's the point if you're working from home and you don't have a super strict schedule? Why do you have to get up? So I want you to acknowledge that it's okay to feel like this, and then give yourself that space to fail in the moment. And then you just get back on the horse, and tomorrow you get a more realistic schedule of getting up at a good time, or you get back on the horse of your exercise. And then again, going back to that, letting yourself grieve. It's okay that you're feeling like this right now. It's okay that you might not feel super happy at every moment. It's okay that your emotions wane from feeling super amazing and then feeling super bad. It's that grief is not one stage right after another. It's cyclical, and you go through all of these different stages. Sometimes you go from the super high to the super low in a 15-minute period, and that's okay. But the first step in getting through this is acknowledging where you are right now, and then building a plan to manage how you're feeling, and then implementing that plan. And that's that setting realistic expectations. So if you were not someone who got up at 5 a.m. 5 days a week, when you had the structure and consistency of going to your work job, you're probably not going to be someone who's getting up at 5 a.m. every day right now, unless you're managing the other side of that, which is going to bed at 9 p.m. So don't set yourself up for failure, because that's just going to make you feel like even more crap. I want you to set some realistic expectations, and it applies to everything that you're doing, but it definitely applies to your nutrition. You're not going to be eating perfect right now. You're going to have moments where you're tired or bored or angry or sad, and you may default to using that bag of chips or ice cream as your comfort. It's okay. It's really only a matter of letting yourself have that pity party for a second and then getting back on your horse, finding that balance. So moving forward, you have to look at, okay, if we're doing this for the next 3 weeks to a month, what are the realistic expectations you can set so that you can achieve your goals? Maybe you want to eat 3 times a day consistently, having those veggies and that meat and a clean carbohydrate source. Maybe you want to start getting up at 7 every morning, and then over these next 4 weeks, work it down to, by the end of the 4 weeks, you're getting up at 5 a.m. Maybe you want to set a goal of drinking more water every day, and how can you implement that? Don't try to be perfect tomorrow. Set some goals that are actually attainable, and then we figure out a plan to reach those goals. And the last thing that I want to talk about is it's not about willpower. It's about habits and discipline. The definition of willpower is control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. Every single one of us has tried to use willpower, and it fails very quickly. It's like a 1 rep max squat clean, right? Like you can do it once. And then if you try to go back up to the bar and do it again, you're probably going to fail it. It's because you've used all your energy on that first 1 rep max and you have nothing left. So if you buy the bag of cookies and then set yourself up to be super hungry, and you're trying to make dinner and that bag of cookies is staring at you from the cupboard, your willpower is going to last probably 15, 20 seconds if you're hungry. And all of a sudden you're going to want to eat those cookies. And then depending on how hungry you are and how stressed you've been throughout the day, you might eat the whole bag. So habits and discipline are completely different from willpower. Discipline is the quality of being able to behave and work in a continued in a controlled, I can't even read my own writing. It's the quality of being able to behave and work in a controlled way, which involves obeying particular rules or standards. They're habits. So my level of discipline, I have a certain level of discipline when it comes to exercise. Like I was mentioning, I gave myself some space to not have a great day yesterday, but I knew that the habit I had created of getting consistent exercise in would help me to get my butt outside and do my fitness today. Going back to those cookies that are in the cupboard. So discipline and habits. You know that your willpower is going to go away very fast. So your discipline and habits are, before you even start cooking, instead of making yourself be hungry and stare at the cookies, you grab a handful of cherry tomatoes, or you get a huge glass of water, or you find part of that dinner that you're going to prepare and you snack on the healthy part of that while you're cooking dinner. So you set yourself up for success. You've set yourself up to eat healthy because that was your goal. It goes across the board with everything that we do. We create systems, expectations, habits so that we don't have to use willpower, or that we rarely have to use willpower, and then we rarely have to rely on motivation. We've created this question of, or this lack of question. I will go to the gym. I will exercise. I will eat my veggies. There isn't a question about it. I know that this is what I'm going to do because I've created these systems, and I can rely on these systems no matter what. So yeah, that's all of it. This actually went a lot faster than I was expecting. That's all of it in a nutshell. I want you guys to give yourself permission to feel, permission to not be perfect right now, permission to have some moments where you just don't know what's going on. And then I want to challenge you to figure out what habits can you put in place to set yourself up for success going forward. What can you do so that when you do feel like crap, you know that the next hour or the next day is going to be better? And then be kind to yourself. Be kind to those around you. Don't have these insane expectations for anybody right now, because we're all trying to establish our new normal. And we've been on quarantine now for a week, but there's a lot of the country that is just starting to be on quarantine, and they're trying to figure out what their new normal is going to look like. So we have to take care of each other right now, and we have to be there for each other. And we have to figure out how can we help each other thrive from our computers so that we all come out of this fit, happy individuals instead of crazy people who haven't interacted with other humans in weeks. All right. So if you guys have questions about this, if you want help figuring out what your systems will look like, if you are struggling with being hard on yourself right now and you need help managing how to be kind to yourself and finding that balance of pushing versus giving yourself some room to exist, I am here. You can email me, Shawna at CrossFitHumanity.com. You can text me, DM me. And like I have mentioned all week, I would love if you have things that you want to address. If you guys make those suggestions for me, it would be awesome. You can comment here on the videos. You can email me. You can find me on Facebook. But if there's something that you are struggling with that you want to discuss, you want me to go over, please, I would love to help you guys right now. I'm in a very blessed position that I have the opportunity to help everybody navigate their health and sanity during the situation. So, all right. I hope you guys are all doing amazing for your Wednesday. And if you need me, I am a click away in all kinds of different platforms. So I will talk to you tomorrow, same time, same channel. And yeah, all right. Have an amazing rest of your day. I like that, Chuck. Yeah, we should, I should have you do a live channel too. Don't let this be your new norm. I like that. You're a smart man. All right. If you guys need anything, hit me up. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, Chuck.